Dear Diary, Dear Diary.
It's funny to remember that as a child I actually did have a diary and I used to write in it religiously. I found it incredibly fun and it was a good habit to form. I can't remember what I was writing, probably simple narrative like today I had fun with my friends. But I stopped writing in it when I ran out of paper and I wasn't gifted a second one. Now when I turned 21 I actually started journaling again. And this time I thought it was a really good idea to immortalize my thoughts and to be able to backtrack my thinking and to see how my mindsets progressed and changed, how my way of thinking evolved over the years. Much like we do with pictures when we take records of our visual appearance and events in our life, how else would we be able to look at how we used to think? Over the years, it has become an incredible tool in my self-development arsenal, along with meditation and other things. And now that everyone and their mom preach journaling and promote it on all social media, I figured it'd be a good time to reflect on it and share with you the ways it's helped me and reasons for why you might want to develop this habit yourself. Before we even go into the points, I'll start with number 0, which is it's free coaching. Performance coaching, accountability coaching have become increasingly more popular over the last few years and also expensive. I have paid for coaches, I have been coaching myself and it's wonderful, it's invaluable, but before we go and spend money in that, give journaling a chance because it's a powerhouse of a tool in your arsenal to self-develop and to coach yourself. And if you stick through with these next 7 points, you'll see why. Number 1, solid records. Your mind, your brain are incredibly volatile mediums to store information and data, and your brain is not programmed to keep you happy, but rather to keep you alive, to keep you wanting more. You want one thing now and then you'll forget it, and then it will make you think like there's another thing to want. Once you get it, it'll rationalize that it wasn't the thing to want to begin with, and so on and so forth. And particularly if you're a bit neurotic, there's a lot of cognitive biases and errors and shortcuts in thinking. So trust me, a little goes a long way in having a more solid medium to write and to remember. You wouldn't buy a house on a verbal contract, and you wouldn't want to play Chinese whispers with your life goals and with your life direction and plans. So journaling is a way to prevent that. Number 2, it's fun. It's rewarding and it's satisfying to be able to look at how your thinking progresses, to sometimes embarrassing as well, to look at how silly you used to be and the things you used to think, and also how obsolete and redundant that way of thinking is now. In a way, it's a way to monitor progress and to make yourself feel better about yourself. And we do it with pictures, we do it with other mediums of storage, so why wouldn't we do it with journaling as well? Number 3, to articulate your thinking. Have you ever stopped and wondered, what is it that you want out of life? Why? What gets you up in the morning? What keeps you motivated? And what your dreams are really all about? As we go through life, we pick up on a lot of unconscious motivators, on influences, and the beliefs and the models that we acquire don't always serve us. We get something only to realize that it isn't what we wanted after all, and we don't even remember that it's something that we set out to achieve ourselves. And like the saying goes, if you don't know where you're going, you'll get there. Number 4, to stay focused. There's so much attention and noise competing for our attention that it's really hard to zone in on the actual signal, and being able to retune and refocus your reticular activation system on the things that matter most to you is the one thing that's guaranteed to lift your life satisfaction. And journaling is just so happens that is the ideal way to do that. Number 5, to listen to yourself. The best coaches and therapists out there do just that. They listen to yourself because they know that in your dialogue, in your vocabulary and your speech, you will disclose your beliefs. By listening to yourself, by writing, you give yourself the chance to catch yourself on your self-criticism, negative beliefs, limiting beliefs, and diagnosing something is the first step to treating it. Once you're aware of these things, you can start replacing them with more empowering thoughts and beliefs that will serve you better. Number 6, to be more present and gain mental clarity. As you journal more and more, you train your mind to be more inquisitive, more self-attentive. And you will surprise yourself one day in the midst of something, stepping outside of your thought and observing it from the outside for a second. And that will be an extremely rewarding experience. It's almost like jumping out of a moving car and seeing it from the outside. And it's an experience that people pursue with meditation and mindfulness practices for a long time. So experiencing that in itself makes the journey entirely worth it, because in those moments you can replace disempowering thoughts with empowering thoughts. Simple as. And number 7, to catch the good patterns. Not all is bad with journaling. In fact, a lot of this is actually making you feel better about yourself and your life. It's helping getting present to good stuff to good beliefs and to give you reasons to be grateful. So this video wouldn't be complete if I didn't at least mention in passing a few of the methods that I think are the best ways you can journal. For a beginner, I would recommend almost like narrating things pretty much the way they happen, the way you recollect them, as well with a bit of a sneak peek into what your thoughts were behind that and also the emotions you felt. So I did this and then I felt this and I thought that. And then just by writing it like that and reading it to you, you'll find things that will be surprising, maybe embarrassing. You'll find resistance, maybe shame in writing these things to begin with. But I guarantee you that if you stick with it, there's nothing to be gained from it but clarity and direction and intentionality. These are incredible tools to have in this day and age, and you're doing yourself a great favor by doing that. And as you progress, you want to add elements like self-questioning and inquiry. For example, on top of the narration, the narrative itself, you'd want to ask questions along the lines of, how could I be thinking about this differently? What am I missing out on here? And this process of self-inquiry will eventually help you reframe things in a more positive way, and all the power is to be regained from that. So in conclusion, journaling can become your best friend and your most responsible self-accountability coach. It's free, it's readily available, and the more you give, the more you get out of it. I recommend you start it as soon as you can and stick with it for a while and see how you progress and what you discover. And you can always come back and comment on this. I'm going to make more videos on this, on the power of writing stuff, on establishing SMART goals, on having systems and written plans for yourself. Hope you found this useful, and if you could please share it with someone who you think would benefit from it as well. Please leave any comments and like, because this channel is just starting out, so this is really helping me see that people find this useful. Other than that, stay safe and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.